Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Viewers, today I'm going to tell you about the story of the people of the ditch and the magician, the monk and the boy. And the story finds its mention in Hadith number 7511 of Sahih Muslim. It was narrated from Suhaib that Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "There was a king amongst those who came before you, and he had a magician. So when the magician grew old, he said to the king, 'I have grown old now, so send me a boy to whom I can teach magic.' Then the king sent him a boy, and as the boy was going to the king, on his way he found a monk, or he met a monk, and he sat down to listen to the monk, and he liked whatever the monk said to him. So whenever he would go to the magician, he passed by the monk and he would sit with him, and afterwards he would go to the magician. So when he would go to the magician would beat him for the delay, because he would go to the magician late. So the magician used to beat him, and the boy complained about this to the monk, and the monk said to the boy that if you are afraid of the magician, say that my family kept me, and if you are afraid of your family, then say the magician kept me. So this went on for a while, and then there came a beast that was blocking the way of the people, and then the boy thought to himself that today I will find out if the magician is better or if the monk is better. So he picked up a stone and he prayed, "Oh Allah, if the monk's affair is dearer to you than that of the magician, then kill this beast, so that the people may move freely." And then, making this dua, he threw the stone on the beast, and the beast died. Then he reported this incident to the monk, and the monk said to him, "Oh my son, today you are better than me, and you have reached a stage where I think you will be tested. So if you are tested, do not tell anyone about me." So basically the monk instructed that because the boy had reached at such a stage of faith that he might be tested, so the monk suggests to him that in case if he is tested any day, so he should not tell anyone about the monk. Then the boy started to heal the blind, the lepers, and to cure the people of all kinds of sickness. And there was a companion of the king who was blind, and he heard of the boy. So he brought the boy many gifts, and he said to him that all of this is for you if you will heal me. And listening to the companion of the king, the boy replied to him, "I do not heal anyone, rather it is Allah who heals. If you believe in Allah, I will pray to Allah to heal you." So the companion of the king believed in Allah, and Allah healed him. He got his sight back, and he came to the king and sat with him as he usually used to do. So the king asked him, "Who gave you back your sight?" And the companion replied, "My lord." And the king was little shocked. He was like, "Who is your lord?" He said, "Do you have a lord other than me?" And the companion said, "My lord and your lord is Allah." And the king got infuriated by this, and he detained him and kept him torturing until he told him about the boy. And then the boy was brought, and the king said to him, "Oh my son, you have become so proficient in magic that you heal the blind and lepers, and you do such and such things." And the boy replied, "I do not heal anybody, rather it is Allah who heals." And the king again, he got infuriated by this, and he detained the boy, and he also tortured the boy until he told the king about the monk. And then the monk was brought, and it was said to him, "Recant your faith," meaning that leave your faith, whatever you believe, your belief in Allah, just leave it. But the monk refused, and then the king called for a saw and placed the saw in the middle of the monk's head and cut him into 2 pieces. Then the companion of the king was brought, and it was said to him, "Leave your faith or recant your faith." And the companion also refused. Then the saw was placed in the middle of his head, and he was also cut into 2 pieces. Then the king called for the boy, and the boy was brought, and it was said to him the same thing, to recant your faith. But even the boy refused it, and Seeing to this refusal, the king handed him over to a group of companions and said to the companions that take him to such a mountain, and then when you have taken him to the top of that mountain, ask him to recant his faith, and if he recants his faith, then let him go, otherwise throw him down. So the companions took him there, and they took him up the mountain, and he said, the boy prayed to Allah, "O Allah, save me from them however you will." Then Allah's help came, and the mountain shook, and they fell down, and the boy came walking back to the king. Then the king said to him, "What happened to your companions?" He was shocked. "What happened to your companions?" And the boy replied, "Allah saved me from them." So the king handed him over to another group of companions. He was so much determined to kill the boy that he handed him over to another group of companions, and then instructed those companions to take him out in a boat to the middle of the sea. Then if he recants his faith, let him go, otherwise throw him overboard. So the companions took him, and the boy again prayed to Allah, "O Allah, save me from them however you will." And his prayers were answered. The boat capsized and they drowned. So again the boy came walking back to the king, and the king said to him, "What happened to your companions?" And the boy replied to him, "Allah saved me from them." And then he said to the king, "You will not be able to kill me unless you do what I tell you." And the king questioned him, "What is it that I should do to kill you?" And the boy replied, "Gather the people in one plain and crucify me on the trunk of a tree. Then take an arrow from my quiver and place the arrow in the bow and say, 'In the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy.' Then shoot me with the arrow. And if you do that, you will kill me." So the king gathered the people in one plain and crucified him on the trunk of a tree. Then he took an arrow from his quiver and placed it in the bow and said, "In the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy," and shot him. The arrow struck his temple, and he put his hand on his temple where the arrow had landed, and the boy died. Then the people said, who were gathered in the plain, they witnessed all these things, and they said, "We believe in the Lord of the boy, we believe in the Lord of the boy, we believe in the Lord of the boy." And the people came to the king and said to him, "Have you seen what you wanted to avert? By Allah, that which you feared has happened to you. The people have believed in Allah." So when most of the people believed in Allah after this incident, the king ordered the ditches to be dug at the beginning of each road, and fires be lit in that ditches. And he said, "Whoever does not recant his faith, throw him into it." Or it was said, "Make him jump into it." So they did it, and they threw all the people who believed in Allah, who believed in the Lord of that boy, they threw them all in that ditches of the fire. And they did that until there came a woman with her infant son, and she hesitated from jumping into it. But the child, the infant child which was there with the woman, he said to her, "Oh my mother, be patient and jump into the fire, for you are following the truth."